The River Derwent runs roughly north to south through the heart-shaped county of Derbyshire. The river rises on an isolated, windswept gritstone plateau. Acidic peat covers the moor. This place is aptly called Bleaklow. More than 2,000 feet high at Swainsgrave, it begins its journey to join the River Trent, some 66 miles distant, and eventually to the North Sea. As it travels across the moor, streamlets add more water and it runs down off the plateau, a proper mountain stream, foaming and creaming. The water pours over the rocks, glinting in the sunlight. Most of the height is lost quickly, and it arrives in the Derwent Valley, an ancient route for pack-horse trains crossing the moors and having to ford the river, called Slippery Stones, hence the strange name. Much later, the pack-horse bridge was moved from lower down the valley from the Derwent village as the lost hamlet flooded, well used now by walkers and mountain bikers. A shock was in store for our river in the form of the Howden Reservoir, a wall across the Derwent Valley. Completed in 1912, it was the first of 3 reservoirs, the second being the Derwent Reservoir, opened in 1916, and later the Ladybar Reservoir, opened by King George VI in 1945. During the construction of the Howden and Derwent dams, 2,700 navvies and their families were housed in a temporary town made from corrugated iron sheets, called Birchinley, better known as Tin Town, a proper town with all the amenities of a permanent settlement. Very little remains of this strange community but the dams. The walls across the valley stand as a lasting legacy to their passing. As 1.25 million tons of dressed stone was required, a railway was built up the valley from the New Midland Main Railway. At times of drought, the remains of the foundations appear from below the water. When the 2 upper dams were completed in 1916, the railway was dismantled and sent to aid the war effort on the Western Front in the Great War. And what of Tin Town? Nothing remains, save for the old hairdresser's salon in Hope. Beside the Derwent Dam stands a monument detailing the devoted vigil of Tip, a sheepdog. Her master, an old shepherd, lost his life on the wild high moors 50 years ago. His body was guarded by Tip until they were found 15 weeks later, the dog barely alive. More water was still needed and Ladybar was planned. 2 villages would be lost to the deluge, Derwent and Ashopton. A high viaduct was needed to carry the A57 Snake Road across the valley, and the tops of the piers are just visible. The 2 overflow pipes are empty due to the dry weather. In the valley are the works to set the Derwent free. Across from the dam are now exclusive apartments where privacy is jealously guarded. On the river flowed, where the Know from Castleton was absorbed at Shatton, then it ran gently through the fields to Hathersage. Hathersage today is a pretty village But it was not always so. Using water power from the Derwent, 6 mills worked, making steel needles, pins, piano wires, crinoline wires, and even gramophone needles. Very little remains, but several needle mills exist still, now apartments. Above the village stands the church, and in the churchyard is the grave of little John. The grave is 10 feet long, and when opened it did indeed contain the bones of a giant of a man. Turning southwards, the river left the gritstone of its birth. The Leadmill Bridge carries the main road over the water. The Bridge Inn at Carver is by the Derwent near the mill. Another strange bridge at Baslow, an old toll-pack horse bridge with the toll collector's stone booth. Then onward to Chatsworth House, where the river was straightened for a better aspect on the eye. 2 bridges span the river as it tumbles over weirs to Lewes Height. And anglers spin for rainbow trout. A watermill that looks like a folly is by the river, roofless, with machinery rusting away inside. This was powered by the Derwent, and the water courses are still in place. The Wye joins the Derwent at Trousley, at the aptly named Wye Bridge, flowing together as one into Matlock. The bridge dates from the 14th century and was widened in the 18th century. The join can be seen. The river flows through the park below the ruined Ryber Castle. Matlock and Matlock Bath were spa towns. The lime-rich water was thought by the Victorians to have health-giving properties. The pump room is at the end of the town, now a mining museum. Matlock Bath is more like a seaside town, with the Derwent in place of the sea. Best avoided on Sundays, when the motorbikes hit town. Walks alongside the river are popular, with the Victorian Jubilee footbridge giving access to both sides. Matlock Bath tried hard to reinvent itself, with a cable car soaring high over the River Derwent. Many sites claim to be the cradle of the Industrial Revolution, none more so than the Derwent Valley Mills. Sited here for the water power at Cromford and undergoing a £4 million facelift thanks to a lottery grant. At Cromford is the canal that gets water from the river, lifted by the Leewood pumping station steam engine. Back into working order, it runs in steam on high days and holidays. The canal is no longer in use, so the water runs back into the river.